Hi, I'm Brian from Network Solutions. Want to add and update your images on our AI website builder? I'm here to show you how. So now we're in the editor of our AI website builder, and I'm going to walk through how you can add and edit images. The good news is that there are a few ways to go about it depending on what you're trying to accomplish here. The first one, and probably the easiest, is coming up to this add element button here, and then grabbing the image item here and then placing it wherever you want to on your site. Just like everything else with the website builder, we have drag and drop. So wherever you want to put that image, you can place it right where it belongs. To add the image, all you have to do is click this edit button, and then it brings you to this area where you can choose to either take advantage of our really deep stock image library. So if you don't have an image that you want to upload yourself, you can come here and look for a great image of lobster rolls. We'll pick this one right here, and clicking use image will drop it right there onto the website. Similarly, if you want to use one that you already have that is specific to you and your business and you want to upload to the site, you can do the same exact thing, except when you click on edit, you can go to upload photos and then simply drag from your laptop or computer the image over to the site, and then it will add it right there for you to use on your. To resize an image, simply grab one of the corners here and you can scale it up or down however you'd like. And again, moving around is as simple as dragging it wherever you want it to be. To delete it and to remove it from the site, there's a little red trash can object here that you can click on to easily remove it from the site, and you can start over with a different one. The other way that you can add images to your website is through the media item in your navigation over on the side here. Clicking that brings out this drawer, which gives you access to any of the images that are currently on your website that you've uploaded, or again, that really deep library of stock photos. So if I wanted to search for more, lobster imagery, I can search for that. It shows me the images that I've uploaded myself with the word lobster in the title, and then also gives me, again, all of these images coming from our stock image availability. And then to add any one of these, simply grab it, drag it over, and place it wherever you want it on your website. And then I'm going to delete this one here. And then we'll talk now a little bit about editing your images so that you can get it to really fit in with your website and achieve what you're trying to achieve here. So we'll continue with this wonderful looking lobster roll image that we have here. Clicking on the image and clicking edit now brings up a editing tool, which gives you a lot of control over what you can do with this image. So I'm going to walk you through each of these different menu items up at the top so you can understand what they do, how to use them, and ultimately how you can use these powerful tools to really dial in the imagery on your website. This first menu allows you to set the alt text title and description, which we know are really important for SEO and getting found online. It's also where if you want to change the image, you can click on this, and then similarly to adding the images before, give you the ability to either upload an image or select another one from the stock photos. The next menu item up here is the shape menu, which allows you to do a few really powerful things. First, it allows you to set the aspect ratio. So depending on the size of the square that you've added the image to, you can either choose that it will fit horizontally and then leave space up on the top and the bottom if it's a really wide image. You can choose to have it fill, so no matter what, it won't leave any blank space within the area that you specified for that image. Or you can also crop, which allows you to do things like zoom in and out within that image to really kind of get the area of the image that you're looking to feature. So for this one, I'm just going to stick with fill. It'll also allows you to set the shape that the image comes in. So, as most images come in a rectangular shape. If you want it to be a bit more stylized, rounded corners, more of a diamond shape, and we have a few other presets that can really help add a little bit of visual distinction to the images on your website. Now is a good time to talk a little bit about, hey, well, what happens if you make some changes and you ultimately decide, hey, I don't really like, where I've gotten to here. I want to go back to the start. There are a couple ways that you can go about doing that. First off, up here in the top navigation bar, you always have the ability to undo any changes that you make, not only with images, but across the entire site. So if you want to step back a few changes, really easily, either Command or Control Z or click this button up here and it'll step those things back. Specifically within the image editing, if you just want to revert to, where you started from, the base image, you can click on this revert shape changes and it'll bring you back to square one so you can start again. I don't know about you, but sometimes I paint myself into a corner and wouldn't mind the opportunity to restart. So next up, we can talk about the style tools that you have up here. What this allows you to do is a few things. It's really about, the style of the boundary of the image that you have. So first off, it lets you set a border. So if you want to create a border around the image, you can control the color, which corners or which sides you want it to pertain to, and then whether it's inside, outside, or kind of centered right there along the line. We also have the ability to control the corner radius. So similar to cropping to a shape that we looked at a second ago, this just allows you to put a curvature on the corners of the image. So you can see in the image right now, it's rounding those corners to give it a little bit of a softer feel than the hard edges of the base photo. And then finally, a drop shadow. So giving you the ability to really have that image stand out, have it feel like it's sort of hovering above the background of the rest of your website. So by pulling this blur line over, you can set the number of pixels that the drop shadow is kind of standing out, and then through the left, right, top, bottom, you can effectively control the light source and how that shadow is showing up on the page. And I'm going to revert that because I don't want the drop shadow right now. Next up, we can take a look at the link menu. This is basically just making it easy for you to control what happens when a visitor clicks on the image. I'm going to give you a few options here. You can link to a page. You can link to an anchor on the current page that you're on. You can link to an external URL, so clicking on that will actually take you off-site. You can link to a specific file or also email address or phone number. So giving you some control over what happens when visitors visit your website and actually click on that image. For overlay, this is more of a color and styling option for you. So if you have a specific color tone that you're going for, branding colors that you're working with, and you have an image that's not really fitting into that, this gives you the ability to add a little bit of a color tint to the image to help it tie into the rest of your site. So in this case, if your branding color is really orange, you can apply like an orange overlay to it. I think this is probably a little bit too much, so we'd probably dial it back to something like 20%, where it's not even necessarily noticeable, but it can be really helpful just to tie the website together with that image and remove anything that might really stand out when it comes to the color that that the website is really featuring. So I'm gonna remove that. All right, and then last up, just a few other controls that you can use to augment the imagery that you have on the site. The ability to show captions. So if you are featuring a portfolio or you want to give attribution to the images that you have on your site, you have the ability to show a caption there and edit that. And we give you a few more controls over what happens when you click on the image. If you want the image to enlarge, we have the ability for you to do that. Clicking on that will then bring up the full-sized image that lets you see it in all of its detail, and then click on the outside area then to go back to the website. This is great for portfolio views and things like that, where interacting with the image in that way and seeing all of the rich detail is useful. And then finally, we give you some control over what happens when a visitor hovers over the image. So you can have it do nothing, you can have it scale up, you can have it do a little bit of a shimmer animation, you can have it go grayscale, you can have it go to more of a sepia tone, or actually even blur when you hover over it. So a few more controls here just to help either call out detail about the image and really round out what capabilities you have when somebody either clicks or hovers over the imagery. So hopefully that answered your questions on how to add and edit images using our AI website builder. If you have any other questions, feel free to add them as a comment below or reach out to us. Or feel free to check out our playlist for more tutorials.